Thank you all for joining us for Understanding Advisor, Graduate Coordinator, and Committee Roles and Responsibility. Today we have Dr. Dave Schwartz from UNLV Ombuds, and he is going to discuss how to identify the specific roles of advisors, coordinators, committee members, and develop strategies for clear communication and conflict resolution. And so I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to him so he can get started.
Thank you so much. I'm going to share. Yeah, I'll get started off pretty quickly, obviously. So yeah, a couple things I want to talk about today. The roles of all those folks, building the supportive academic team, and then clear communication and really quick conflict resolution, kind of a mini workshop tagged on. Roles of advisors, coordinators, and committee members. So grad coordinator is in a department. So basically, grad coordinator is grad faculty who is the main point of contact for grad students within academic units. Those are the departments. They are the ones who coordinate recruiting, they coordinate retention, progression, and completion. And they also are the person that goes back and forth between the unit and the grad college. That's what they do. Now, the advisor is basically when somebody comes in at admission, they have a pro tem advisor. The student then can pick an advisor that serves as the chair of their graduate advisory committee. So, graduate advisory committee. You know, it's important because it's underlined. And the advisor is the person who really does most of the heavy lifting academically. They're the ones that does a one-on-one mentoring. They will give feedback on dissertation, thesis, or other project. Okay, then we have the chair, and it's kind of confusing because I feel like we have the department chair, we have the committee chair. A lot of people name chairs. So some people call this the advisor, and they are supposed to do many things. They're supposed to maintain high standards. They help the students get through the program. They also oversee original research, which has to be of a sufficient level of rigor to warrant the degree. And they help people through critical professional development skills and tell them about opportunities. And they serve as the primary investigator, principal investigator for IRB applications. And they also prepare their students to defend their thesis or dissertation or other project. Okay. Committee members. So for theses, doctoral projects, and dissertations, we have other people in the committee. They also help guide the student through the program. They help administrating that final exam or whatever the culminating experience is going to be. Usually the committee has a chair, two department members, and one grad college representative. So there's usually four people in it. Okay. The grad college representative is typically somebody outside the home department. And they are the representative on the committee, and they are there to make sure that there's fair and equitable treatment of students and the grad faculty on committee. So they're not always a subject matter expert. They're just here to see that all the standards are upheld. Okay, that includes scholarly conduct and research ethics, all that fun stuff. Okay, and basically they say this final document is original research and publication quality. Anyone, and this is from the grad student handbook, any concerns witnessed by anyone on a grad advisory committee should be reported to the grad college dean or associate dean, and if necessary, also to the appropriate offices on campus: compliance, IRB, student conduct, which is now student rights and responsibilities, risk management, disability resources, whoever that would be. So if somebody sees something that involves research integrity, they would report that to the dean or associate dean of the grad college and the IRB. So second thing I'd like to talk about is building a supportive academic team. And first person in the team is always the student, the grad students, you. And it's one of the things I like to do this. I do work in conflict resolution. So knowing what someone wants, knowing the outcome they want is usually a very good place to start. Also knowing our capabilities. So if somebody says, I want to finish my degree and I want to be the first person in my program to file, that's a very different outcome from somebody saying, I want to have a dissertation that is going to be published by a major publisher. And they may lead to them making different decisions. Also knowing our capabilities, what we're good at, what we're not so good at, knowing our limitations, time, patience, all these things, which we all have. Having a plan, very important. And I feel like this is something that can't be said enough. just having a plan of what is going to happen and taking ownership of that is very helpful for this because that really is the first step. Okay, other roles. So, what other people do. So, basically, the student themselves has a plan for what they want, what they're going to do. Other roles, the chair keeps those standards, mentors, provides research oversight, professional development, and career advising. Okay. The members are giving feedback on the project, also mentorship. Coordinator is basically making sure that everything is happening as it should be happening, making sure the forms get submitted, hitting the document milestones and things like that, and just making sure that everybody's in communication. Okay. So peers can provide valuable support. I'd like to talk a little bit about what are the benefits of talking to peers if there's any issues. Although I'm about to ask another question, so we'll go be quickly. Okay, so basically, kind of what I'm alluding to here is grounding, also having people outside the program or outside the university totally that people can bounce things off of and basically can connect somebody to the outside. They say that graduate school can be a really all-consuming experience. And if it's where we're studying and working, I can see how it can be. So it's often helpful to have somebody outside to be that emotional support, so we don't have to rely on getting that from the people that we're working with and studying with. Can be true. And again, I'll pause here really quickly so we can kind of have that discussion. Kind of my other big, I don't know, just perspective setting thing here, because people get really hung up with, my program is my life and this is everything. This is my whole self-worth in here. Actually, I would say no. Grad programs evaluate progress across academic milestones, nothing more and nothing less. They do not give people identity or worth. Once I finish the program and I have my degree, everything is easy. Maybe it is for some people. Most people I know it's not, and it's just another milestone. So yeah, it doesn't, somebody struggling in a program doesn't mean that they aren't really good at a lot of things. It just means they're struggling with regard to these specific academic milestones. So I just think that's important. Again, I don't want us to ever forget that. Okay, three. Okay, clear communication and conflict resolution. Again, this is a mini workshop within the workshop. So this is something I love to talk about, which is the four things you say. And you may say, well, Dave, how is it possible that I can say four things at once because I have one mouth? I'll explain it. When you say something, there's always what you mean to say. And this is what's in your brain, and it sounds really intelligent. So we have what we mean to say. We then have it go. When it goes from the brain to the mouth, it can lose something. In my case, it usually gets about 20% less intelligent. I'm just aware of that. Like, I think of something, oh, cool. And by the time I say it, it doesn't sound quite as good. And it's not quite what I meant to say, but it's close. It's pretty close. What other people heard. It may be something about the desert air out here. Maybe it's different today because we have more humidity, but something happens to the words in the air and the meaning changes sometimes and people hear something different. But then it's what they share with other people. So they may share something totally different with other people than what they heard, or somewhat different. And it's maybe, even if it's 20% different at each point, now you've only got 20% of what you said. And I've got a good example. If somebody is saying, okay, I am going to be bringing lunch and I am going to bring either pizza or chicken sandwiches. And other person says, yeah, I don't care what you bring. One way of hearing that, so what they meant to say maybe is, I'm not invested in the outcome. It doesn't matter to me what you bring, both are good. What the other person might hear is, I don't care what you bring doesn't matter. I don't care about that. Oh, it doesn't matter to you, so it's not important. So what I do isn't important. What they might share is, yes, they told me that it didn't matter what I brought. It's not important. But what they meant was, I trust your judgment, bring whatever you want. So sometimes it is about being very careful with using language like that. And also when we hear people trying to peel back what we think they might have meant to say, instead of like, well, this is what I heard and I'm going to run with it. Also, some people say, and is anybody here in linguistics or communication or a field that would actually cover this? Because I'm not an expert in it, but I've read online, so it might be true. Communication is 55% body language, 38% tone of voice, 7% the words spoken. And I guess, how could we test that? Well, you know, I don't know. Hey, oh, whoa, okay. Like, do you think I'm excited about what I'm talking about? Yeah, when the facial expressions don't match words. So yeah, I'll get a spoiler alert. I love doing workshops like this. I'm really excited to talk to you. So yes, I'm probably pretty animated. A lot of that, again, like a lot of that, if we were talking about something else, that level of animation might be kind of off-putting. If I came in to, if you were working retail and I came in at a problem with my new shoes and I was this animated, it might be read as being a little bit hostile. So yeah, a lot of it's body language, and nonverbals are important. And if I now swat around, it's because I've got a gnat circling around me. So, and it does include things like like the expression on one's face, as was said there in the chat, the tone, the posture, the gestures, the spacing and touch. And it can be conscious or unconscious. We may not realize that this is, oh yes. And this is the next thing I want to talk about. Responses to text messages. And I have a little exercise for this. Yes, text messages that may come across cold, it may come across as hostile, it may come across as passive aggressive. So if somebody texts me and says, really good workshop today, are they being sarcastic? Are they, what do they mean? So it's very hard. It's very hard. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that gets to our next thing, email/text. Yes, the tone of expression can be tough. Okay, so it is very difficult to read tone in text, and it's very easy for us to invest somebody with tone that they may not intend. And I really do believe that you could write me the nicest thing ever, and if I'm in a bad mood, I could read this as being passive aggressive or sarcastic or hostile. And I'll give you, here's what I'll do. We'll play a little game. I'll let you post some compliments in here or some nice things in the chat. Like just post some generic nice things, and I'll tell you how somebody could spin it while I'm queuing up. Oh yeah. Or so, and again, like if somebody's texting someone that's like, yeah, sure. I like the plants in your office. All right. That is something really nice. And I am proud of the plants in my office. So I really have to like put another, I'm just acting here. This is not me to you. This is just acting. Someone like, what gives you the right to judge my office? Are you an interior decorator? Like, why are you being that condescending to me? Like, that's all you like? So people can find anything. Give me some other stuff as I'm going through this. So yeah, is it rushed? So are they rushed? Like, okay, yeah, sure, thanks. Or are they just being flippant? Yeah. Your nails look classy. What, you think I don't know they look classy? Why are you saying that? Yeah, who else has something fun? Are they being sarcastic? Very easy to find anger when we look at texts and emails and stuff. And usually, again, the best, nice shirt. Yeah, like, what do you mean? Nice shirt. You've lost a lot of weight. Yeah. Oh, so you think I'm sick? Yeah. We can, yeah, we can basically flip anything. If somebody wants to read bad intent, we can read bad intent into the nicest thing. Nice shirt. Oh, yeah, thanks. Versus like, well, what? It's not, are you serious? What's wrong with my shirt? You know, sorry, I'm doing that. Okay. And basically, also, what we put in words in text or email is forever. So we need to be careful about it. Also, CC people thoughtfully. Sometimes adding more people to the discussion doesn't make it better.